The door clicked shut behind me, a soft hiss sealing the mistake I didn't know I'd made. Her back was to me, bent at the waist, violet skin gleaming under dim neon lights from the alien minibar. She didn't turn, didn't scream. Instead, her voice slid through the air, low and amused. "You're early." "I like that." My mouth opened. Nothing came out but a grunt of confusion. I should have backed out right there, should have apologized, lied, blamed the hallways all looking the same. But something about the curve of her hips, the sharp flick of her long ears. Maybe it was the drink I'd had downstairs, maybe it was just me, froze me in place. She straightened, slow, deliberate, turned. Her eyes locked on mine, silver with tiny flecks of deep blue, like distant stars. A smirk tugged at her lips as she crossed her arms. Her dress clung to her, cut low in ways Earth designers would have called scandalous. Here, it was probably casual wear. "You going to stand there all night, or do you need instructions?" She stepped closer, the sway of her body just exaggerated enough to feel intentional. My throat was dry. I glanced around. Definitely not my room. A pair of boots too small for me near the bed. Perfume in the air I couldn't name but felt in my chest. I think I've got the wrong room," I managed finally. Her smile widened like I'd told her a joke. "Did you now? From behind, unnoticed, while no one was watching?" She was in front of me now, close enough to feel the heat from her skin. Her finger ran lightly down the center of my chest, tapping just above my belt. "You do realize what that means, don't you, human?" "No," I said because it was true. She laughed, short and wicked. "It means by my people's laws, you've claimed me for the night. Or," she leaned in, lips brushing my ear, "I can claim you. Depends who gives in first." I swallowed hard. "That's not an Earth thing." She pulled back, head tilting. "Then you better learn quick." Somewhere in my brain, alarms were going off. Cultural misunderstandings, legal nightmares, possible death by offended alien customs. But my body? It was stuck between running for the door or leaning into the chaos. "I don't want to cause offense," I started. She cut me off with a sharp laugh. "Oh, you already have. The door locked behind you, human. It logs entry for security. No turning back." Her eyes glinted, enjoying every second. "Unless, of course, you want the hotel to know you rejected the first daughter of Zindra." I didn't know what that meant, but it sounded bad, very bad. "What exactly happens now?" My voice was hoarse, but steadier. "Now?" She stepped back, arms wide, presenting herself like a gift. "Now we drink, we talk, we test your limits, and by morning we see if you're brave enough to walk straight." I wasn't sure if she meant physically or metaphorically, but I nodded like I did. She poured us drinks, thick, iridescent liquid that fizzed as it hit the glass. I took a cautious sip. It burned, sweet and sharp, lighting a fire in my veins. She downed hers in one go, watching me over the rim. "So, Earthman, tell me, how do you handle pleasure?" My brain scrambled for a reply. "One disaster at a time." She laughed again, loud and real this time, throwing her head back. "Good. I was hoping you'd be fun." Her fingers traced the rim of her glass, slow, teasing. "We have traditions, you know, rituals. You'll like them." "What kind of rituals?" I asked, knowing full well I probably didn't want to know. "Touch, words, challenge." She stepped close again, lifting my hand, pressing it against her bare shoulder. Her skin was warm, soft, but firm. "We start with touch. You have to explore. Find the marks that glow. If you miss, I get to punish." I raised an eyebrow. "Punish?" She nodded, biting her lip. "Lightly. At first, this had to be a dream, a weird, booze-soaked alien hotel nightmare. But the heat of her skin, under my palm, said otherwise. I don't want to offend. You already said that, she interrupted. Stop worrying. You're here. I'm here. The universe wants this, don't you think? I didn't believe in fate, but I did believe in taking a chance when it stared you down with silver eyes and a dangerous smile. All right, I said, sliding my hand slowly down her arm, feeling for the unknown. Let's see what the universe has planned. The glass slipped from her fingers, shattering on the floor, but neither of us looked down. Her eyes burned into mine, daring me to make the next move. My hand moved along her skin, fingertips tracing the patterns of her tattoos, watching as faint lines pulsed beneath the surface, glowing faintly blue. Her breath hitched, a sound between a challenge and approval. I didn't know the rules, but instinct told me to keep going. Her skin was like heated silk, and every mark I touched told me something about her. The way her muscles tensed, the flick of her eyes, the soft hum she made when I got it right. You're learning, she said, voice low, rougher now. Not fast enough, but I like the effort. My heart thudded. I didn't know whether it was fear or something worse. Her hand caught mine, pressed it hard against a spot just below her ribs, and the glow burst bright. She smiled, satisfied, then stepped back. Now words, she said. Speak. Tell me something true. My mind spun. What counted as true in a room like this? In a night like this? I opened my mouth, half ready to fake something, but her eyes pinned me again. Lie, and I'll know. I have no idea what I'm doing, I said. Her laugh was soft this time, almost kind. That's the truest thing I've heard in years. She turned, stepping over the glass like it wasn't there, and sat on the edge of the bed. Her legs crossed, one foot lazily swinging, waiting. I stayed where I was, not sure what came next, not sure if I was supposed to approach or speak again. She leaned back on her arms, her body language open, challenging. You've touched, you've spoken, now it's time for challenge, she said. I want to see what you're made of, human. How does that work? You surprise me. That wasn't an answer, but it was all I was getting. I stepped forward, careful not to lose my footing. Her eyes tracked every move, sharp, amused, expectant. I sat beside her, not too close, not too far, and for a moment we just looked at each other. Why me? I asked. Why not? She shot back. There are probably a dozen others better suited to whatever this is. But none of them entered my room from behind while no one was watching. That really a thing where you're from? It is. Now. She shifted, her thigh brushing against mine. I felt it through the thin fabric of my pants like an electric current. Her hand reached up, fingers running through her hair, pushing it back to reveal more of those glowing lines along her neck. I couldn't tell if she was taunting me or just being herself. Maybe both. What would surprise you? I asked. She raised an eyebrow. A man who doesn't ask that. I moved without thinking, leaning in, lips brushing her ear. Then stopped waiting. Her breath caught again, this time sharper, and her hand gripped my thigh, firm, anchoring. We were both done playing cautious. She pulled me into her, and the kiss wasn't soft. It was hungry, desperate, a clash of heat and defiance. Her hands were everywhere, guiding, demanding, and I followed because I didn't know how to do anything else. The bed creaked under us, but we didn't stop. Her laugh broke the kiss, and she pushed me back, standing again. She stripped off her dress in one fluid motion, letting it fall like it meant nothing. Her body was a map of light, glowing symbols tracing her curves, flickering as she moved. Don't just stare, she said, tilting her head. Touch again. I did, standing, closing the gap, hands on her waist, feeling her pulse through the light. She pressed against me, her breath warm against my neck. This is better, she whispered. Now you're starting to get it. I didn't answer. Words felt useless now. My hands explored, finding every mark, every glow, learning her like, a language I didn't know I could speak. She guided me when I got it wrong, rewarded me when I got it right. It wasn't about speed or power or technique. It was about knowing her, showing her I could learn, adapt, that I wasn't just another human stumbling in the dark. Time blurred. There was no rush, no plan. Just sensation, movement, breath. She was everywhere, above me, around me, and I let go of trying to control it. Let go of thinking. When we finally stopped, the room was quiet again, save for our breathing. She lay beside me, one hand resting on my chest, fingers tracing lazy circles. "You surprised me," she said, eyes half closed. Not bad for someone who had no idea what he was doing. I laughed, a dry sound. Glad I passed. Barely. I turned my head, meeting her gaze. "What happens now?" She shrugged. "Now, we sleep, or talk, or do it again, until morning." "And after?" Her smile was soft this time, almost tired. "You'll see." The door buzzed once, then swung open without warning, and two figures stepped in like they owned the place. She didn't flinch, didn't even bother to cover herself, just sat up slowly, eyes narrowing. I grabbed for whatever cloth I could find, but she was already standing, blocking my view of the new arrivals with a casual stretch. "Well, well," one of them purred, a voice higher, sharper than hers. "You didn't tell us you were starting early." "Didn't know I had." "Two," she replied, voice cool, laced with something harder. "What do you want?" "To see what kind of mail you picked this time." I froze, unsure whether to speak or wait. The second figure, taller, darker, moved closer, eyes scanning me like I was a prize or a problem. I couldn't tell which. "Looks fragile," the second said. "Are you sure he can handle it?" I opened my mouth, but she raised her hand. "He handled me just fine." The first one stepped closer, ignoring the tension. Her fingers reached out, brushing against my shoulder. "You know, we usually get to test them too. It's tradition." "No," she said, firm now, stepping between us. "He's mine for the night." "Possessive," the second one murmured. "Interesting." I stood, heart pounding. "Is this some kind of joke?" They both looked at me amused. "He doesn't understand," the first said. "He's human," the second agreed. "They never do." "Try me," I said, sharper than I meant. They smiled like I'd just made their night more fun. "You entered her room. That makes you hers. But to be fully claimed, you need approval. Ours." "Approval for what?" "To stay. To leave. To breathe in peace." I looked at her. She didn't say anything, just watched me, waiting. She wasn't going to fight for me. Not here. Not now. "What do I have to do?" I asked. "Impress us." The first one stepped back, arms crossed, a smirk playing on her lips. "Sing," she said. "Sing? Something from your world, something real?" I glanced at her again. She nodded, just once. I cleared my throat, searching my mind for anything that wouldn't get me laughed out of the galaxy. Then softly, I started. The words felt ridiculous in this room with their eyes on me, but I kept going. A song about rain, about longing, about being lost and finding something unexpected. My voice cracked once, but I didn't stop. When I finished, the room was silent. Then the first one clapped, slow, deliberate. "Not bad," she said. "He has some heart." The second one tilted her head. "Still weak." Her hand flicked out, tossing something at me. A small device glowing faintly. "Next challenge. Make us laugh." I stared. "You're kidding." "No, humor is rare. Show us yours." I looked at her again. She gave nothing away. "Fine." I held the device, flipping it in my hand. "Three aliens walk into a bar," I started, watching their eyes narrow. "The bartender says, 'We don't serve your kind.' The first alien says, 'Good, I don't drink.' The second says, 'Great, I own the place.' The third says, Perfect. I just came for the human. Silence. Then, the first one chuckled, low and unexpected. He's bold. Too bold, the second said. Maybe that's what we need. They stepped back, whispering in a language I didn't know. I felt like prey waiting for judgment. Finally, they turned. You'll do, the second said. For now. The door slid shut behind them as quickly as they'd entered. She sat down, exhaling slowly. You handled that well? I had no choice. No, she agreed. But you didn't. Panic, that's rare. I sat beside her, muscles tense. What was that really about? Power, control. They needed to remind you this isn't your world. I noticed. She leaned in, brushing her lips against mine, softer now. But you're still here. For now. Her smile returned. Slower. More dangerous. Let's make it count. The morning light cut through the room in thin golden lines, sharp and unforgiving. My eyes burned, not from sleep, but from everything that had come before it. She lay beside me, silent, watching. Her expression wasn't soft anymore. It was measured, calculating. Whatever had happened in the dark wasn't enough to change the rules we were both still playing. You have one thing left to do, she said, voice calm, almost too calm. I pushed myself up, body aching in places I didn't expect. I thought I passed. You passed their test. Not mine. I stared at her. What now? She stood, stretching, her back to me like the first time I saw her. Only now, I knew better than to mistake it for vulnerability. You sang. You touched. You survived. But now you have to show them all. She turned, her eyes glittering. The guests, the staff, everyone here. Show them you're not afraid. Of what? Public humiliation. Of being claimed. I laughed, bitter and dry. I thought I already was. Not enough. Not for them. They need spectacle. And you? I want to see if you'll run. I stood, crossing the room slowly, stopping just in front of her. I've made it this far. She tilted her head. Then prove it. The atrium, 1 hour. Be ready. She left without another word, and I was alone again. My reflection in the mirror looked back at me, older, worn, but something was different. There was a spark now, something reckless. Maybe I was tired of running, tired of always playing it safe. 1 hour later, the atrium was full. Aliens of every kind, gathered in loose circles, talking, watching, waiting. She was there, center stage, radiant in a new dress, one that shimmered like water. Her sisters flanked her, expressions sharp. The crowd quieted as I stepped forward, heart pounding. She raised her hand. "This human claims me," she announced. "But does he dare claim me in front of all?" Murmurs rippled through the crowd. I could feel the weight of their stares, heavy, judging. "Let him show us," her eldest sister called. "Let him prove it with fire." A small platform rose from the floor, hovering slightly. I was supposed to stand on that? I climbed up, the surface humming beneath my feet. A familiar device was handed to me. A mic, ancient tech compared to the rest of this place. "Speak, human," someone shouted. I looked at her, at them, and smiled. "You want proof?" They waited. I didn't come here looking for this. I didn't ask to be part of your games. But I'm here. I stood my ground. I faced your trials, I sang your songs, and I'm still standing. Not because I have to, but because I want to. She smiled. Just a flicker. "This woman," I said, pointing at her, "she's more dangerous than any of you. And I'm not afraid of her, or you. So if you need a show, here's your show." I dropped the mic, literally. Gasps, laughter, confusion. I stepped down, walked to her, and kissed her. Hard, in front of all of them. Her hands gripped my shoulders, pulling me closer, deeper. The room erupted, some cheering, others shocked. Didn't matter. She pulled back, breathless, eyes wide. "You fool," she whispered. "You're fool," I said. And that was it. Later, we sat in silence, the chaos fading behind us. You could have walked away. I didn't want to. She took my hand, squeezing it. "You'll regret this." "Maybe." She smiled. "But not today." "No," I agreed. "Not today."